Okay, just having a look around. Anna's just hunting around on her side as well. Just want to highlight the on the tick charts two things. First of all, the contract I've got here is actually the what we call the MES. It's the micro of the ES. So we've moved now away from the NQ. We're now on the ES, in other words, the S&P 500. These contracts were introduced back end of last year. I was actually at a presentation by the CME. So these are relatively new. And the advantage of them is that they are much smaller than the very well established contracts of the big contracts, if you like, of the ES, the NQ, and the YM. And these are basically a tenth the size. So if you're not familiar with trading index futures, it's a great way to get into that particular market with a much, much lower capitalization and much smaller risk as well, because as I say, they are the tenth the size. So these are tiny contracts. Now, the advantage with these is, and the other, they're all, I've got them up on the browser as well. In fact, if I just pop that up, you can see them here. Here we go. This is all of them here. So we've got the micro E-mini for the S&P, which is the MES. You've got the micro E-mini for the NQ, which is the MNQ. And then you've got the micro E-mini Dow for the which is MYM. And they, as I say, they are tenths the size. They are, and the nice thing about them is there has been a lot of liquidity, a lot of volume. So there's nice price action on these indices. When you trade some of the smaller contracts, particularly in currency futures, for example, where you're trading micro currency futures, which are also available, they are less liquid. So if you're trading a micro Aussie, for example, you'll find the price action is very spotty. It doesn't flow particularly well, and it's quite hard to read. It'll move to a price, stop, jump to the next price. So I just wanted to highlight them. They're terrific instruments, and they are a very low risk way of getting into the futures business and trading index futures amongst other markets, but these are relatively new. The second thing I wanted to point out, I'm just going to adjust these to the correct settings. That's 89 tick comes from here, so that's that one. This is 293, 233, so they're all okay. 377, just drop this one down. This one's dropped away a little bit, so just change that over. And when you're changing on tick charts on in NinjaTrader, all you do is you just click the chart to make it active, and you just knock in the number with a T on the end, and it'll automatically update to the tick, to the equivalent tick. The point I wanted to make about trading on tick charts as opposed to trading on time charts, and I'll try and make the point here because there was some discussion going on about this in the group, and also I know we had some emails on it as well, is to try to understand what it is that a tick chart gives you that a time chart doesn't. Now up at the top here, I have got a 1 minute chart for this particular contract. Could be any, but I've got the 1 minute here. You can see we had a nice move here, nice breakaway, volume point of control through the price action, lots of volume. Yes, we had volatility, but we're carrying on high for the time being, which is nice. But what you actually see in terms of a tick chart, if I pull up this chart, for example, which is 89 tick. In fact, let me drop it out of the way. Let's see if I can find a better example. Let's go to the 377 tick. When you look down at the bottom at the actual amount of time that it has passed on each of these charts, in fact, let's go back to this one, 89. And you look at, I'll just expand this up if I can. There we go. There we go. So when you look at these and you're looking at the amount of time that's passed and the number of candles that have been created in those various time frames, you can see here, these are all a minute. So in these minute windows, you've got on each of these occasions, you've got maybe 4 or 5 candles. So what you actually see, and you've got an example developing now, is on the minute, you are going to see more than one candle on a tick chart, but what you're only ever going to see on a time-based chart is one candle. And that's the difference. Traders seem to have an issue with understanding this concept, but a tick chart and a Renko chart are independent of time. So what you actually see in terms of your minute, which has passed here with your one candle, you will have maybe 5, 6 on a busy, when the market is really moving fast, you're going to see maybe 8, 9, 10 candles to every one up here. So in a sense, the way you can think of it is that you are actually seeing inside this particular candle, you're seeing this price action dissected in a very different way. You're seeing the momentum that is going on inside that candle. This is a little bit sluggish, the price action right now, but if you're a scalping trader and you're looking to get in and out, taking literally ticks, maybe a point, maybe a full point, but certainly a handful of ticks, you're not going to be hanging around waiting for a minute candle to form. What you're interested in is getting in when the market is moving quickly so that you can jump in, take your profit and get out. Because you've got to remember that a lot of scalping traders will be scalping on big size. What they're looking for, their modus operandi, their way of working is to look for small moves, but big profit or big contract sizes. So they're trading multiple contracts, but they're looking for those over very small gains. If you're looking to take 2 or 3 pips or 2 or 3 points, and you're only trading one contract, you're only going to be making a few dollars. If you're trading multiple contracts, you're looking to make thousands of dollars, but you obviously the risk of that much higher. So what we're looking for constantly in a tick chart versus a time chart is the dissection of that candle into its component parts within the time frame. So within that 1 minute, the 1753 to 1754, you've got a bunch of candles here. We're in congestion right now, so it's not a great time to be getting in. We just got to wait and be patient. And that's really where the tick speedometer steps in, because what you're looking for here in combination with that is you're then looking for this activity to move from slow. We want to see it certainly in medium, and it's nice to see it spike up into red, but you can see at the moment it's pretty sluggish. We've got a little bit of orange coming in, but generally speaking, we're still running on slow. So if we want to be scalping this, we certainly want to see it flick up to medium. We want to see something coming in here on medium. We want to see some activity to actually allow us to get in on some momentum in the market, jump in, take our profit and get out again. We're not interested in waiting here for this 1 minute candle to close. What we're interested in is seeing the price action down here or over on this chart or up on this chart, all confirming what is going on at the moment. And that, I hope, gives you an understanding of why it is that tick charts are so important in the scalper's armory of trading, over and above the time-based approach. There's nothing wrong with the time-based approach. Indeed, the reason we developed this was so that we could blend volume analysis, where we're looking at the volume down here in relationship to the price action. So we've got our VPA. We can analyze it from a volume and price perspective. We've then got our momentum revealed in terms of the activity over here, the speeding up and the slowing down. And then that gives us the advantage of trading into the tick chart and leaving, if you like, the time-based element to one side for a moment and jumping in on the tick chart where the momentum is revealed and where you actually see the increase in the number of candles through that particular period. Now, this could be 30 seconds, it could be 15 seconds, it could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, could be much slower. The same principle applies, and obviously the greater the number of ticks, obviously up onto the slower time frames here. This is on, what have I got this on? 1 minute. Okay, so that's on the 1 minute up here. So we're looking at, the equivalent between tick and time, and what the tick chart does, as I say, it disassembles the 1 minute candle or your time-based chart into momentum that you don't see. You see it on the tick chart, but you don't see it on the time chart. And you'll get more candles on the tick chart than you will ever get on the time-based chart, because the time-based chart only delivers one per time frame. The tick chart doesn't. It delivers many, many more. And if the market was active and really moving, then there would be a lot more. It's just pretty sluggish at the moment. It's starting to pick up a little bit. You can see we've gone up to orange now, so we're starting to see some activity. You can see here we've got some buying coming in under this candle. Got a really nice spike, gone to green. Price action's narrow, lots of volume coming in. Jump in there, grab a point, grab a couple of ticks, get out again. It's that sort of participation that you're looking for. Same sort of thing down on here. This is on, I think this is on 32nd, yeah. rise in activity, comes in on green, volumes coming in, narrow spread, there's a little bit of buying coming in there. And that is the way to use this particular indicator. It's the reason we developed it, for many, many different reasons. It's a blend of tick activity, of time. It reveals momentum exactly the same way as Anna showed you for currencies. It gives you that participation. Are the markets fast moving or not? And at the moment, as you can see, it's pretty sluggish across the piece. And just going back to where we were earlier, just pull the VIX over, which I've been eyeing all the time. There we go. That's the reason why. It's just going sideways at the moment. It's just not moving. There's no momentum right now. The market's pretty sluggish. Just have to wait and be patient and wait for it to break to the next level. Just going to pause there for a moment.